Ooh, I think it's sunny today again. That's a Korean record, 2 sunny days in a row. If you don't know, Korea is a brand new country. It was founded only in 1945. And before Korea was the Korea that we know today, it was a whole bunch of autonomous empires, internationally autonomous, unrecognized. And the last one was the Joseon Empire. But in 1897, the king of the Joseon Empire wanted to become an internationally recognized nation and dismissed Joseon and created the Korean Empire in 1897. And just a few years later, the Russians were creeping around the Korean peninsula, so Japan went to war with them, defeated them, and Japan was like, we helped you guys out. In 1905, Korea became under the protection of the Japanese military. They wrote a treaty about it. This treaty was a little bit shady. Although it gave Korea freedom from the influence of the Russian sphere, this treaty kind of deleted any sovereignty Korea may have had. And 2 years later, in 1907, there was another treaty signed that said any Korean government officials had to be Japanese, kind of under the pressure of Japan now. And then 3 years later, in 1910, under the pressure of with the government being mostly Japanese officials and the Japanese military throughout the whole entire country, Korea was forced to sign over their country to Japan. And officially in August in 1910, Korea became a state in Japan that was internationally recognized, known as Chosen. And that was not a good thing at all. The Japanese did a lot of fucked up shit to Korea. Truly evil shit that you could never imagine. But on the lighter side, they made it illegal for children to learn Korean in school. They deleted and destroyed up to 200,000 historical documents of the Korea's history over the last 2,000 years. They burnt down every temple they could find, and they went so far as to, they brought in about 200,000 Japanese families and sent 2 million Koreans over to Japan to work in forced labor factories, including 200,000 Korean women who were to be comfort women for the Japanese military, and 800,000 of the other people who moved over to Japan sort of disappeared, may have died in these forced labor positions. And Japan went as far as to bring all of their native plants to Korea and plant them all throughout the country to make it look like Japan. And that's only the lighter stuff. If you want to know just how insane Japan was at that time, you could look it up yourself. They did evil shit to Koreans. If you try and imagine the most evil thing that could possibly happen to a human being, they did worse than that. But this monument represents the independence they have from Japan. I was so tired this morning. I forgot to shave after I showered. I forgot to put on freaking deodorant. I forgot to put on sunscreen. I was just like, I wish I could have got 3 more hours sleep. Oh my God. I just realized there was a fire here. Look at that. I was just chilling out, enjoying the sights, and I'm like, oh wait, it's not some crazy event, it's a fire. I don't know if I'm allowed to just be walking through there. Whatever they're doing here. There's a smoke machine there. I wonder if it was a fire drill or something.
Can you speak Korean? Or?
No.
We speak Korean.
Want me to get out of the way? Oh, training.
Fire training. The exhibition hall, behind this building.
Okay.
And you go first and go straight, and one exhibition hall. First exhibition hall.
Thank you. It's gargantuan. The sculpture is a artistic mass of 274 pieces of 3 to 4 ton granite. It doesn't say how tall it is, but like the origin of the Korean people. Yeah, the Korean culture has been around for 5,000 or so years, but people have been living in the Korean peninsula for about 700,000. But say for the first 695,000 years, people have, oh my God, the children should not be allowed in public. But yeah, for the first 695,000 years, I think for all the humans on Earth, there were generally no cultures. It's just people just trying to live. See, look at that. Fuck, am I good or what? I survived by hunting and gathering. That's exactly what I said. People just trying to live. Very prehistoric things. Grinding. Making leather. I wonder if these are the first carvings in rocks. Is this a real rock from the place? You can kind of see them. The first Korean state is the Gojoseon, founded in 2333 BC. There's almost nothing known about that. It's like I think it's even kind of debated if it was even real. I might be wrong about that, but I know they know almost nothing about it. Goguryeo, Baekje where we were yesterday, Silla where we were last week, and Gaia, which is a group of, it wasn't a kingdom in itself, it was just like a group of a bunch of city kingdoms. Like each city was its own kingdom, and Busan was one of them, part of the Gaia Foundation. I don't know that much about Gaia. I don't even know why they call it a state. Hey, the tomb of King Muryang. We were there yesterday. Hey, the pagoda of Meruksa Temple. I was there a couple days ago. This museum is so nice. That's a recreation of what they found in the first tombs we seen like 10-ish days ago. When they opened the tombs, they found that. And that's what I can't take a picture of at the museum, the real one. You could see it at the museum and it's kind of big. It's like maybe 3 foot by 2 foot painting from 1,500 years ago that was put in the tomb. See, look how small Koreans were. Puny little people. There was the Goryeo kingdom. There were several kingdoms, but the big three was what they call the Three Kingdoms period. That's the biggest one, but there were other kingdoms other than the Three Kingdoms, and Goryeo was one of them. Right here is talking about all the wars that Korea has been in, and the Koreans were had to fight in, and they were all invasions by foreign powers. Koreans were not the type to go and invade other places, but so many people tried to invade Korea so often. This is how small Koreans were 5,000 years ago. They were about 2 feet. And then they started mixing with other nations, China, Japan, and they got a little bit of height from the other nations. And the other nations got a little bit shorter from Koreans, and it all evened out. There's different kinds of weapons. I don't know what that one would have did. 3-barreled musket. Cannon engraved with Chinese character. They could have just said cannon. Arrows. I don't know what a matchlock is. Armor made of cotton. I doubt that would do anything. That's just what I'm wearing right now. My t-shirt, 5-barreled musket, and a 10-barreled musket. That one's crazy. That's called a bugle. The Xinjiang Wacha. Wacha for fucking Wacho. There's so many kings. King Sejong is one of the most famous. Yeah, it even says right there. He oversaw the invention of Hangul, which is the writing language right on top. He invented it. The ordeal of the Korean people represents an accurate picture of discriminatory and barbaric colonization that came about after the Korean people's endeavor to establish a self-reliant independent nation was frustrated by the invasion of the Japanese imperialism. That's what I was talking about. See? As ports began to open with the advancement of Western powers in East Asia in the 19th century, the 1800s, Japan forced the Joseon dynasty to sign the unequal Treaty of Ganghwa Island. After that, Joseon began to change with the simultaneous introduction of new cultures and invasion of powers. It doesn't say the year, 1876. Starting with that, Joseon began to establish diplomatic ties with Western powers, including America, and adopt new cultures in the process of modernization. However, these things also accelerated the plunder of its rights by foreign powers. First telephones, maybe? Their first stamps, they became totally westernized immediately. Like, look at that. Like, traditional Koreans in the early 1800s, by the late 1800s, they had like phones and stamps. See, 1885. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it was just instantaneous. We had a postman's hat. See, look at this traditional Korean man. He probably grew up, incredibly Korean. And then by the end of it, he was riding trains and shit like that. And they wanted to improve the political rights of the people. After its organization, it erected the Independence Gate that we've seen, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and establish newspapers and newsletter. Newspapers and newsletter, that's like incredibly Western. So they seen the way Western people ran their countries and were like, let's become like that. As a result, the voice of the people against the invasion by foreign powers was reflected in politics. And that gate, by the way, is for the independence from Chinese influence. Through such efforts, Joseon adopted Western culture and introduced modern systems that transformed itself into a new nation. Having transformed into the imperialism through the Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War, Japan proceeded to invade Korea. In the process, Japan committed the atrocious act of murdering Empress and took steps to colonize Korea by illegally using force to pressure Korea into sign a treaty. Eventually, Japan took over Korea by force in 1910. The king signed over Korea to Japan. He himself signed it over because he was like, he literally had surrounded him by Japanese military and government officials, like literally in the room. Then they imposed the Japan-Korea Treaty in 1907 in order to take over the administrative authority of Korea. Japan then seized Korea's judicial power through Korea-Japan Memorandum on the delegation of the administration of courts and prisons. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was like a very much a pressure thing from like the late 1800s, 1890s. It was like, okay, Japan's coming over. Let's become Western. Let's get the U.S. on our side. And after they took over in 1910, it was just straight fucking suffering. Look at this box. And the inside are freaking... I didn't know that existed. Brick used in the construction of the Seodaemun prison. Right? We were there a couple weeks ago. Look at the Joseon money. That's so cool. I wonder where I could get some. This is one of the coolest places I've ever been. I really like the museums in Korea. They're so well done and they're just well told. There are many more exhibition halls. Here's the how they got their independence. There's the establishing a new something, probably their future after with their new independence. Here's a special exhibition hall. I don't know what that one is. Oh, I think that's the entrance where I actually came in, what we just seen. I'm not gonna check them out. I am running behind on my schedule. If you're gonna come here, you gotta check out the museums. They're really great. I wish I had another hour and a half, because there's even a 7th museum here. Yeah, probably military. I'm just guessing, because I could see a plane right there. So it's probably a war museum. I'm just totally guessing. It might not be. Koreans really love cable cars. They're everywhere throughout the whole country. And I mean it when I say everywhere. So it's one of the leading attractions here in Korea. When you study this place and be like, what do I see in Korea outside of Seoul? Usually cable cars. Why do they have Koreans? Welcome to Las Vegas, and they're in a Bugatti Veyron. How much? 18,000 or 23,000. There's a premium cable car for 300 bucks. It's weird coming to a place like this at 2:15 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. It's just like me and 8 like elderly Korean people that are retired. I don't even know where I am. I don't even know the name of the... I would have to look it up. I just put it in my GPS. Literally, I'm so far in the middle of nowhere, there's not a single English word on here. They're probably like, what the fuck? Oh, there's emergency contact there. This is so cool, actually. Yeah. That is so awesome. You don't, like the highways, they have so many sound guard blocks and like guards to block car crashes from crashing into the forests and shit. You don't really see any of this. You see it in the distance or a little corner when you're taking a turn, but you don't really get to see it. So just stopping my drive, coming over here. Wow, look at that. Take a cable car, go on top of a mountain, see the area. It's like a nice little break. I get to get like a Coca-Cola Zero. It's so quiet. You don't hear anything but the birds just chirping and a very slight hum in the background. I'm at that Cheongpung Cable Car, and I'm going up, I don't know what mountain I'm going on top of. It's in Korean. Cheongpung. This is where I am in the scope of Korea, directly in the middle. So nice to see you. It's like it's a convenience store here in Korea, and they have one on top of the friggin' mountain. I'm guessing since the weather is kind of crappy, nobody else is up here. Or it's 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Or both. What the fuck? Did you see that? They also have these weird little fish-shaped ice creams here in Korea. This one has red bean inside. See, it's a little fish. Driving around Korea it's really unique. It really feels like I'm driving around a country that was poor for like 50 years. I think they were poor like 50 years ago. And then once money started coming into the country, they were just like, let's build everything. So all the roads are pretty new. There's cable cars everywhere. But it's kind of like home because it's so Western here. All the restaurants are like chain restaurants. All the convenience stores are all the same. There's pizza chains. So it's very similar to home. They just invested a lot more money into like actual things to do for their population. Like cable car is an example. I only know of one cable car in Canada. The one that's in Banff. So you have this like really, really futuristic feeling country with metro and great bus system, and everything is by tap with these cards that you fill up. And then at the same time, it's super, super traditional. Like Koreans only eat Korean food. They don't fuck with Mexican food, Indian food, American food, even like really Thai food. Like it's 99% of the restaurants are Korean restaurants. So it's like super traditional that way. I don't know if this is even red bean. It's so sweet. Also, Koreans like everything sweet. Everything that you could buy here is sugary, which is great for me because I like sugary everything. The pizza is sugary. When you get a tea, it automatically has a shitload of sugar in it. Like I had vegan Korean chicken. It was so sugary. It was almost like a dessert. I had like one of those spiral potatoes, and that had sugar on it. What the heck? There's a monorail here. I wonder where it goes. There's a cafe here. It's so foggy. Like you barely see anything. It looks totally fake. Like, look how sporadic and spaced out and all that shit is by the islands, and then they all have this like kind of sand rock bottom, and then it's vegetation on top. That's so weird looking. I drove in on that bridge right there. That's where I drove. Then I parked. We went over that. Holy shit, kind of far. This is crazy looking. Oh my God. Look at this. Like, the air looks hot, doesn't it? Fucking jungle. So, before the Japanese came and annexed the country in the early 1900s, there used to be tigers throughout Korea. There would have been tigers here. But they killed every single one. The Korean tiger, it's an extinct animal because of Japan. Let's go this way. It shoots you out like the other one, and it swings. It goes like. See? Ooh. This is so awesome. Thank you. I enjoyed that. It felt pretty Vegas, actually. Chungju. This town is famous for one thing. What the fuck animal was that? This town is famous for its apples, so I'm even staying at the Apple Guest House. Room 301. Ooh. I like it. And I think I'm going to experience the shower right now because I didn't put on deodorant today. I think we should go and try and find some of the world famous apples from this town.
카드를 넣어주세요.
Apple corn chicken, apple ping pong club, apple country, apple blossom. Apple blossom is a little cafe. I think our best bet is apple cafe. Or apple story? Let's try apple story. Ooh, maybe I could actually buy some fresh apples from here too. Am I stupid? Like, where's the entrance to the cafe? Oh, it's right here. They're closed and it says Monday to Saturday. Damn it. Well, let's see if they got the apples here. Literally not an apple in sight. Like to be recorded at all, but this guy's given me the best help that he could possibly find to try and find some apples from here.
그래서 여기 가보려고 한다는 건데 지금 충주 사과가 목적이야. 이분은 충주 사과. Why don't you go to the city hall? 충주 city hall.
I think here, the Muhak
무학 market.
I think so.
Our 충주 city hall has museum, about 충주 apple. I know.
Really?
Yeah. So
let me check.
Yeah.
I think it's closed. Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Bye.
See you. Let's go try. He said there's an apple museum here, but it's almost 7 o'clock, so for sure it's closed. I'm gonna go try the cafe because they might be able to point me in a better direction. Let's see if they got any apples. It looks like there's no cafe here. What the heck? Is this it? Yeah, cafe apple story. Are they closed or are they open? They're closed. I give up. For a town that claims they are the apple capital of the world, they make it awfully hard to find an apple. I came all this way for an apple that I could not find.